So tonight we're going to be making a very, very simple, basic base recipe for fajitas. You can add any protein that you like to this, whether that's, traditionally it's more like chicken and beef, or you could also add beans, you could add tofu, play around with it. And traditionally I believe it's also served with tortillas, but tonight we're going to be serving it with rice just to stretch our dollar even further and make sure that it has more of a punch. What we'll need to make our fajita dish for the evening is a red pepper, or any pepper that you have on hand, an onion. We have a red onion tonight, but you can use a white or a yellow onion as well. Your measuring spoons, a spoon to stir in the sauté pan, which is over here, the cutting board of course, our fajita blend, which we do have a recipe already posted to make this fajita blend. It's super simple and very cost effective. Of course your oil, salt and pepper, and a discard bowl for your scraps as you cut. Because we're going to be serving our fajita sauté with rice, we've already prepped it. We have washed it and sieved it. We have our steamer ready, but of course you can use your rice cooker or whatever it is that you have that helps you cook rice. If you also know how to do it on the stovetop, of course you can do that. We are also planning on making a video to show you how to cook rice on the stovetop if you don't have any kind of appliance that does it for you. So we'll set our steamer to cook the rice as we're doing our sauté. That way it roughly finishes at the same time and everything's nice and hot.
First things first, after you have the rice going, you want to chop the veggies and prep them for the sauté. Before we start throwing anything into the pan, I'm going to quickly just oil the pan.
And a very important note, the heat is not on with the pan yet. There's no heat going to that pan, we're just going to be using it to collect all our ingredients. Wait, wash your vegetables. That's a blooper, we're keeping that shit in.
Don't forget to always wash your vegetables. So for this dish, I do like to keep as much of the pepper as absolutely possible, just to help bulk it out. Scrap bowl. And I can just throw this directly into the pan. Again, the pan's not on just yet, not until everything's in there, but I could just throw it in there while it waits.
And of course, like I've said before, like we've covered before, this is a very basic recipe for fajita. You can add any protein that you like. And what really does make this recipe is the seasoning itself, which again we have a video for.
So I'm going to be cutting the onions in rather large chunks. Basically cut them lengthwise and then just in half. That kind of helps make it feel a little bulkier. Alrighty. Now that the peppers and onions are in the pan ready to go, I'm going to set the stove to a medium for the saute. And I'm going to do salt and pepper to taste. Just a pinch, maybe about a quarter teaspoon of salt. Maybe a little bit more, a little more than a quarter teaspoon. And some pepper. And this is just a little pinch. So maybe an eighth teaspoon of pepper. I'm not going to add the fajita mix just yet. I'm going to let everything soften in the pan, and then I'm going to add the fajita mix later on.
Alright, so now that we have these in the pan and they're starting to cook, we'll need to stir it relatively often. Don't leave it alone because then it might burn. What we're looking for is for the onions to soften and the peppers as well. With white onions, it'll be easier to gauge when it's ready because you'll be able to see that the onions go clear faster. So as you can see, the onions are much clearer. They've softened. And the peppers are getting cooked, but they're still firm. They're not super smushy. So at this point, we're going to add a little bit of water just to deglaze here. And then we'll be adding our fajita mix. So I'm going to very carefully, because this is very hot, add a little spritz of cold water. So we are adding this much water because it turns into almost like a gravy once it's cooked. Back on the stove, and as you can see, the stuff that was stuck at the bottom of the pan is no longer there. I'm going to keep stirring, and as the water heats up again, it's going to make not quite a gravy, but it's like a thick sauce that coats everything. And as you can see, it's quite a bit of water, so this is roughly a quarter to maybe a third cup of water in here that we're going to use to make our sauce. So as you can see, the water has reduced significantly and it's browned a little bit. So basically the caramelizing of the onions have lifted and it's getting to be a little bit saucier. The thickness is almost there, but we do want it a little bit more gravy-ish.
Okay, so it's time to add the fajita mix. And any sachet that you buy in the store is going to be roughly about 2 tablespoons. So that's all I'm going to be adding today. Our tablespoon is too big for the jar, so I'm going to do 6 teaspoons, which is the equivalent of 2 tablespoons. Alrighty. And of course, get that all mixed in. And the spice mix is going to add a little bit more to the gravifying of the water.
Very saucy.
Very saucy, yes. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah. You can see the gravy kind of effect that the water has had, and adding the spice has created a sauce.
And the rice is not quite done yet, so we're gonna keep this on a low heat just to keep it warm, and then when the rice is ready, we can just add it directly into the pan. The rice is now complete. You can either add the rice directly into the pan with the fajita saute, or you can have it as a side of rice. The way we like to do it is adding the rice directly into the pan. and then mixing in the rice. This is why having it nice and saucy is good, so that the rice picks up a lot of that flavoring, as you can see. And now that the rice is nice and flavored, the dish is ready to serve.
As you can see, we have some bowls to the side. We like to have this with sour cream and or some grated cheese of some sort. If you don't have either of those, or if you don't like either of those, no worries. The dish itself is delicious as is. Cheers to good food.
And good company.
Yow. Say hi, Foof. Okay.